I was like, but why are they doing this? Like, it doesn't make sense. She's like, girl,
I don't know. I was
like, girl, did you just set me up? And she's like, quiet. And what I find funny was they ransacked my room. They started to bring down stuff like my laptop, my iPad, passport. They started to bring stuff down, and they were like bringing stuff down, and they started to like go through my bags. They started to bring bags down. They started to bring all kind of things down and started to line them up at the door. And I'm like, but if you're looking for money, why are they bringing down my stuff? So one of the guys come to me and says, well, if you don't give us the money, we'll just take your stuff. And I was like, I don't have your money. The guy was like, oh, well, all your stuff is gone now. And I was like, wow, okay. And I'm sitting there helpless, nervous. So I text a friend of mine while I managed to sneak my phone between my bosoms. So I text a friend of mine and I was like, could you please call the police? I'm being robbed. But I think my friend dropped, fortunately for me, my friend dropped asleep. So I text back and I said, don't call my phone, just call the police and tell them that we're getting robbed. And if you don't hear from me by morning, I probably am dead. That's all I could have texted and said, because at that stage, I didn't know what to do. I saw them pull out knives. I saw them threaten the other guy. I saw them beat up my friend. They started to hit on me, and they're taking it out on everyone except Annabelle. So I'm like, it just doesn't add up. Why is not Annabelle being part of what's going on if it's so a robbery? So after that, I was really shocked. I was distraught. I was worried. At that time, the last thing on my head was my stuff. I didn't really care about anything at that point in time. All I wanted to do is to just stay alive, because I felt like after all is said and done, this will be dealt with. So long story short, they took everything that they could have gotten their hands on. They went with them. Then the boyfriend stayed while he drove the thieves away with my stuff.
Oh, the ghetto! The ghetto. The ghetto.
I found it really funny, and I found it really weird. And then the hurtful part was the fact that this girl was actually like a friend, and so I didn't think anything of it. Morning come, police came, they arrested her and her boyfriend. Long story short, when they arrested her and her boyfriend, the landlord, which is her aunt, was like, she was away on holiday in Mexico, and she was like, she don't know what's going on, but whatever it is, take it to the law. When she gets home, she will deal with it. After that situation, I was outside, and one of her other cousins came to get stuff or get something for her, whatever it is they came to the house to get. And I'm standing outside, and I'm overhearing them on a conversation saying that she set it up, but it went completely left.
Disgusted? It ain't even for me, cause you a grown ass woman.
Completely left, because apparently the guys was meant to come in, scare me, to get money off me, because she saw that I had a stash of cash the week before. But the guys got greedy because they saw bags and stuff, so they decided to do that, but that wasn't meant to happen. So I'm standing there all shook, like, wow, like her own cousin is saying that on the phone to someone. So when I opened the door now, her cousin was like, oh my God, you're here. And I was like, yeah, I came to get clothes because I'm gonna stay somewhere else. The girl's like, oh, sorry to hear what happened to you guys. We're trying to resolve it. I told Annabelle not to be with that guy. That guy is a waste man. Da 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 da. And I'm like, sis, whatever. I just heard you admit to actually what transpired and what was meant to be. So at this stage, I just felt out of it. This girl mom came to beg me to drop charges against her because they were like, they don't want her to go to jail. I said to the mom, listen, at the end of the day, I wouldn't want her to go to jail either, but it's what she's done. So that's her problem. She should have thought about that before she agreed to do this. I don't really know how it ended with them. All I know is I got a letter from the police saying that they are still investigating and they're going to charge whoever. They called me one time, asked me if I allowed such and such a person to use my card. I said to them, no, I haven't. They said, okay, they're still busy with the investigation. Long story short, someone got arrested. Don't know how it ended. I was not interested in that case anymore. All I wanted to do is get my stuff out of that house, the rest stuff that was there, and leave. And I never looked back. I never spoke to the landlord again. I never spoke to her again. I know the girl mom met me once after that. Annabelle's mom met me and she wanted to have a little sit down. And I had a heart-to-heart with her and I said to her, look, I'm disappointed that your daughter did this. At the end of the day, she never even really apologized to me for it, like what happened and what she's done. So for me, and she's like, well, I'm apologizing to you. And I said to her, you know what? It's really nice of you as her mom to apologize to me for her, but I feel like she still needs to face me. Because for me, I just want to ask her one question. Why me? Like, why would you do that to somebody like me that always had your back? You know what I mean? But for me, I've gotten closure. I've moved on from this whole situation. And moving on for me, I just felt like I would never, ever in my life, be able to live with someone or live with under their circumstances again. I did learn a lot from this. You can't trust anyone, period. I mean, you kind of grew up hearing, you know, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing and all of these things. But girl, to come and think that Annabelle would actually do me something like that was really shocking. So I lost, I would say, about 60 to 70,000 pounds worth of handbags. For me, it wasn't so much of losing the bags. Some of the bags to me had a sentimental value. Some things had sentimental values to me. Like some things I could never get back, ever get back. I mean, with the resale market and the vintage market that we have now, I probably stand a chance on certain things, but not everything. And I feel like, you know what, at the end of the day, Kristen, I have life. I'm a hard worker. Money come, money go, things come, things go. This was a lesson for myself. I gathered my frills, took in all that positive energy, and I kept it moving. And today I'm at a stage where I've built back my collection. It took 5 years to kind of get to where I am. And the collection that it took was a collection from 2006. So that was a 10-year collection. So it would have been double to triple as to what I have now. Building on the build up to my collection, I have sold pieces, I have resell pieces, I have bought pre-loved, I have bought, you know, pieces new. I have got pieces on deals, like let's say I've had a friend or someone that works in places where I could have gotten discount. So I've managed to gradually build my collection up to where I am now. So I'm really grateful and happy for that. I'm really happy for that. Like for me personally, like what I took from that whole thing is just don't trust nobody. You can't. I try and I just can't trust anyone. Can't trust people. Like you just cannot trust people. One thing that I loved about myself is I never really let that situation stop me from being who I am, the loving, caring, giving, understanding person that I am. It hasn't made me bitter. It hasn't made green my favorite color, because it's still not my favorite color. And green definitely doesn't suit me within my attitude. But I must say, like, it was a scary experience. Like, seeing these guys in balaclavas, it was mad scary. And, you know, I always say karma is a bitch. She gonna get her karma. That's if she didn't get it already. But I always say, one day I would see her face to face, and I would ask her, like, I know it. Like, I always tell people in this life, and I've experienced it, two mountains don't meet, but two people do meet. And I always say, the day I see her somewhere, and, like, she can't run or escape me, I will put her in front of me, and I would be like, well, go on, like, talk to me. Like, why did you do me that? I just would like to know why me. I think that would just kind of give me full closure. I mean, I have moved on, but the full closure of it for me was like, girl. So with that being said, yeah, I have moved on, and I have had to start from scratch. So my best friend Kayla Charles, God bless her, I'm calling your name, King King. She's such a sweetheart. She's always been my rock here in the UK. We knew each other from back home as well. So she was like, girl, you don't have a bag? I was like, girl, I have no designer bag, like not even one. She's like, so what are you using at the moment? God bless her. She's like, what are you using then? I said, girl, I have a little River Island bag. You know, she's like, oh no, sis. She's like, girl, drive down, girl. I can leave you use the Speedy, you know? I was like, wait, hold on. The same Speedy I sold you for 250 pounds. She's like, yeah, girl, come and get her, honey. You could use it until you get your first couple of bags, you know? So here am I, driving down from Essex all the way to Farnborough? Somewhere far. And she's in the army, so drove down. I was like, girl, I need a bag, girl. So she's like, okay, wait, you could practically borrow it. And my other friend, shout out to Dominic, he was very supportive through this. He was definitely my rock. He's like, you know, you can't live like this. He was definitely there for me. I appreciate him so much for that. And that time of need, you know, seeing your friends be there for you was like the best thing ever. So I grabbed my clothing stuff. At that time I was dating this guy. He was like, you have a whole store here with clothing. So I took all my clothes and all my stuff, and I put most of my stuff in storage, and just have a little, you know, luggage just to be in a small little room by myself. And it was a struggle to start, and it was like, wow, you know. So after that, I borrowed my friend's Speedy. That was the only bag I had at the time. And then I will never forget, my first designer bag I bought, starting back my collection, was my Louis Vuitton Petit Métis. And that was before they had the big price hike. So I got it practically when it was still in the 800 and something pound mark. After that, it had a price hike. And after my Petit Métis, I then went on to getting my Lady Joe in this beautiful blue turquoise color. And then I went on to, trying to remember the order. A couple of bags. I went to the pre-love market. I was going to We Buy Designer. Shout out to them. Yeah, I went to We Buy Designer and I purchased, I think it was a YSL sac de jour, like the big ones, you know, and I bought a Celine. Oh my god, I'm getting emotional. So it was like literally starting from scratch and just trying to feel good about having one or two bags and options. And yeah, it was really crazy. So far as to the bad part about it is, at the time, like, the insurance was just the worst thing ever. I'm not even gonna get into that. That was just a whole hoo-da-da to deal with, because based on report and what was said and what was done, and it was back and forth, and it was very long to deal with. That resolved itself, and moving on for me was really hard. I had nightmares about it. I had anxiety. There's times I would be in dark spaces and I would think like, what if? You know, even today, like I have so much security where I live now. I have cameras, I have stuff in place. Even when I go on holiday, you know, I try and have, you know, secured place and security. So I just kind of have that little fear inside of me still, you know, but I still battle it. Victim support, that was no help to me. The police offered me victim support. That was short-lived. They just give me this queer little alarm, and they were like, oh well, if you ever feel threatened or feel in a situation, pull it and throw it somewhere, or keep it on you. And people know that when they hear it, it would make a lot of noise. And I was like, okay. I had it for like a year or two, and then I just stopped putting it on my keys. They never checked on me again. They never called to see if I'm okay. They did just that one little session with me, and that was it. I personally, I haven't sought much help either. I just try to deal with it myself. You know, talk to my parents about it, talk to my friends about it, you know, talk about it. It's not something that I would usually talk about, but yeah, like when I do talk about it, I would express myself and, you know, try and get over the ordeal. And it was crazy. It was so crazy. So moving on for me, I just had to start buying all my pieces back bit by bit. And then sometimes I would, you know, buy a piece and not too happy with it, and I would sell it back, and I would get something else, and just that I just keep building up my collection. And now my collection is, you know, where I would like it to be. And I will give you guys a little tour as to how far I've come along. And, you know, I could speak about the bags, because every bag there now, I could remember the exact time, day, when, how, and there's a story to it, a story of getting it. So hope you guys could join me in my room.